Hello Game Boys and Game Girls, I'm the Game Boy Guru and welcome to another pickups video. I want to say it's been a minute since I did one of these and I forgot to check before I started recording, but I want to say this is going to be both March and April because I didn't get much in March, at least not enough to justify doing a full video. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer video, not super long, but I actually got quite a bit over the course of the time that I've been away, and enough that I probably need to, go through everything here. Plus, I've got several things that I want to open and unbox as we go along. So let's get started with some stuff that I picked up at one of the local game stores, or I say local, it's still an hour away, but local to me, that I like to go to. It's actually only recently moved into the area, but one that I have been enjoying, and I'm glad that they're in town now, because the other game store that is in town is lacking in selection and sometimes a little overpriced. So let me start with this batch here. So I'm working toward, slowly trying to work toward filling out my Wii U collection, and so I'm picking up a handful of things, much of which I'll probably never play, but just kind of in an effort to get through as much of the Wii U library as I can. So I've got Just Dance 4, Just Dance 2016, Madden NFL 13, which I might actually mess with because looks like it might be good. Puck Tournament. Finally have a copy of Splatoon. And Call of Duty Ghosts. So I picked those all up at that store. And I also picked up a couple things that had been on my list for a while. One of which is James Pond 2 RoboCod, or codename RoboCod for the Sega Genesis. This is a kind of a classic Amiga conversion, I think. One of the cool things about this game is the manual that comes with it. Of course, the cartridge there, but the instruction manual is this interesting sort of fold-out deal of James Pond, and then here's, you've got all the controls and all the information on there. So that's a pretty neat deal. It didn't have the warranty or registration card, but that's fine. This is good. Another one that I've been looking for a very long time, and finally found a copy in the wild, is James Bond 007 The Duel. Now, I've been looking for this for a number of reasons. First and foremost, because I actually rented this game as a kid and quite enjoyed it. It reminded me a little bit of maybe a more sophisticated take on the sort of Rolling Gunner idea. Not Rolling Gunner, Rolling Thunder, excuse me. So that's part of it. But unfortunately the cartridge has some damage on it, but that's okay. The game is playable. But the other reason is because of the fact that Timothy Dalton's on the front, and I actually got into the James Bond films through his first of the two Bond movies that he starred in, The Living Daylights, which is still my favorite Bond movie. And so, anyway, this is one that I've been after for a long time. I never see it in the wild, and the fact that it popped up at a store that I go to now on the regular was just icing on the cake. So I had to pick this one up. I also got a couple of Game Boy games. So finally scored a copy of Sequest DSV. And then also, talking of licensed games, True Lies. So that was cool to find out in the wild. Now let's move over to some stuff that I got for free. This is a fun story. So my brother works as a high vac tech, or heating and air company, and so his boss has also got into some real estate and has purchased a building recently, and they're in the process of trying to clean that out because it's got some old stuff in it. And anyway, his boss said, if you find anything in the building that you want, it's yours. Just take it home with you. Well, then my brother found a box full of video game related stuff, and so he thought, well, maybe my brother will want this. And indeed, I did. So, the first thing I'll show off are these things, which I have never seen before. These are really interesting and unique Super Nintendo controllers. And let me unwrap the cable here so I can kind of show this off a little bit better. They're from a company called Suncom, and on the back there you can open up the little compartment on the back and put a AAA battery in there. One assumes to add some additional functionality, but the buttons feel bad. The D-pad feels terrible. So this is not a controller that I would probably want to actually play with, but it's an interesting curiosity. And one of these I couldn't get open, but the other one I was able to open, and unfortunately it still had a battery in it, so the corrosion's in there. It's probably ruined that. But it's such an interesting controller because I've never seen one of these, and I'm not even sure if I like the way it feels in my hands. But it's just so unique, and of course I got it for free, both of them. So it's no big deal either way. But those I thought were very interesting. I also in that same box was this, what is it? It is an Interact SharkPad Pro N64 controller. Standard third-party N64 controller. But it also came with this, which I'm assuming is a memory card of some kind. But it's not branded, it has nothing on it. So I'm going to have to plug that in and check that out and see just what's on there. But yeah, I like the see-through deal, and that's one of those things with controllers that I always enjoy. The analog stick actually feels decent. It's not totally ruined like a lot of them that you see that are loose. This actually feels tight and it recenters, so this might actually be worth using. So that's another thing that was kind of interesting from this box. In the box there was also a couple of I'll say newer, but newer games. So we had FIFA Soccer 2004. We have Madden NFL 2001. Grand Theft Auto 3 Greatest Hits, and these are complete, by the way. This has the this is just the manual in this one. No map was included, but I already had a copy with a map. And then NCAA Football 2003, which sadly is just the case and a manual, but inside the case was shoved 3 other game discs. So we have Rampage World Tour for the original PlayStation, Twisted Metal Black Online for PS2, and War of the Monsters for PS2. So some slightly newer stuff, but I'm not done, because there's also a stack of additional games in there. So for N64 we have Diddy Kong Racing, which I did not have yet, so I will definitely be cleaning the contacts on this and giving that a go at some point. And then we have a whole stack of Super Nintendo games here, most of which have the dust protectors. So we've got Disney's The Jungle Book, again, one I didn't have. A game I've never heard of called Obitus, so that was kind of a neat one to see. We've got the Capcom Aladdin game. I'm very familiar with the Genesis version because I own a copy and, again, rented that as a kid, but I've never played the Capcom Super Nintendo version, which I think in recent years has been looked at more favorably than in the past. Star Fox, which I already have, but I'll be able to maybe trade that somewhere. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Jurassic Park, Lagoon, which is, I don't want to say uncommon, but maybe a little less common today than it was 20 years ago when I was first kind of looking for these things. And the one I was most excited about when I opened up the box is Secret of Mana. This is one that has become a little bit more expensive. Super Nintendo RPGs tend to be expensive, and this is one of the better ones. Of course, this is Seiken Densetsu 2, the sequel to the first game, of course, on the Game Boy, which got localized here in North America as Final Fantasy Adventure, which is a great game in its own right. But this is supposedly the highlight of the series, and so this will be a cool one to dig into. So that was all free stuff that I got through my brother from thanks to his boss saying, "Hey, take what you want." Now let's look at a couple of other things here. I got a couple things in the mail more recently, and so one of those, thanks to Bickman2K from RF Generation, he ran across this in a game store and picked it up on for me, and that is the Blues Brothers on Game Boy. And so this is one that what is it? Blues Brothers Jukebox Adventure, I think, by Titus, and this is one that I had not seen in the wild, at least not that I recall. Otherwise, I would have picked it up. But many thanks to Bickman for picking that up for me, because it's one that I definitely needed to add to the Game Boy collection. Also got some stuff from Limited Run, and so we'll go over a few of those things here. So first up, we've got The Takeover, which is a beat 'em up, and of course that came with their usual art card that they send along. We'll go ahead and crack this open so you can see what's inside. Assuming I can get my sausage fingers in around the plastic to get this unboxed. So here's the front. There's the back. And inside, of course, we've got game card, manual, and inner art with some characters there. And the manual is actually quite large. It's very thick. And so you've got cover art there, a little art on the back. And as with most of these most of these limited run releases, it is full color. Nice quality print here. Some stuff about the different moves and attacks you got. Character profiles. There's Ethan Rivers. There's Megan Brooks. And Connor Grayson. Characters in the game. And Jackson Irons. And some concept art as well. So really cool stuff. Always down for a good beat 'em up. So when I can pick up something like this, I like to do so. So that's the first one. Then we've got the Zombies Ate My Neighbor or Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol pack that they did. So again, we'll open this up and show it off. So there you've got the front there with the cool design. Always loved the cover art for Zombies Ate My Neighbors. This sort of very B-movie, low-rent kind of look. There's the back. And again, the manual and game card. And it looks like maybe this is just a reversible cover. Yeah, with a very basic look on it, but if you want something that's a little bit more lo-fi for your shelf, looks like it's supposed to kind of look like an older game. But again, you've got the manual here, and the cool thing about the manual, if you can see there, it's got a 3D effect, which you can view with the included 3D glasses. So that's pretty cool that the manual has a 3D cover and some 3D effects. There's some spray art there that has a 3D effect, so I can pop these over and I can see those kind of pop out off the page. That's pretty cool. Of course, you've got controls and stuff like that. More 3D sprite art, and if you can see, there's a little tiny little 3D glasses icon there that kind of shows when there's a page that has 3D stuff to look at, which is kind of a neat little touch. And so this is I rented, this is another one where I rented Zombies Ate My Neighbors as a kid and enjoyed it, but never subsequently went and bought the game. Of course, here's the art card that it comes with. So I'm glad to finally get this. Now, what I don't remember off the top of my head, if this is based on the Genesis or Super Nintendo version. I'm assuming it's based on the Super Nintendo version, but I'll have to double check that. And then finally from Limited Run, I got Tailgater. They're doing a series of Game Boy re-releases, several Natsume titles, and this is one that Tailgater, unfortunately, is one that has gone up in price a fair bit over the last few years, and so I've never managed to get an original copy. I think this is going to cover me. I'm probably not going to worry about, I've said this before, but I'm probably not going to worry about getting an original copy for stuff that gets official re-releases that are licensed like this. Would it be cool if I stumbled across a copy on the cheap somewhere? Yeah. If I do, will I pick it up? Probably. But I don't feel as though I have to. And I certainly don't have to spend scads of money on an original copy when I have a perfectly playable one that is complete in box and, has everything that I want. So let's crack this open here. We've got, of course, the manual that is styled after the original. It says limited run on the side there instead of Game Boy. And I'm assuming that the manual is essentially a replication of the original, just kind of redone in a clean fashion for this release. And then of course you get the tray that holds the cartridge in the box there. And the cartridge itself is of course Gator Green, which is great. I love that. And so that's a nice little touch. And as always, comes with the little art card that completes the package. So very, very pleased to have this in the collection now. So far I've been enjoying these Natsume re-releases through limited run. They're good quality, and it's good to see these games getting a second life in some fashion, so that collectors aren't just spending tons of money for someone who just wants to play the game and you know, experience that on real hardware or what have you. It affords us the ability to do that without wasting a lot of money. Also, what I got in the mail here the other day is Amazon had a special on a particular game, one that I had kind of been interested in after seeing some mention of it in, I want to say, one of the Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Direct presentations. But this is not the Switch version. It is the PS4 version of Chris Tales, and this is an interesting game with a kind of a cool art style. But Amazon was running a special on this, and I got it for $10. So that was pretty cool. So I was happy to score that. Where to go next? So for my birthday this past month, I decided to take a trip and just kind of go and do some game hunting and shopping and things, kind of like I did a few years ago for my birthday, one of my milestone birthdays. And so anyway, I decided to go out and just take a trip and go buy some stuff. And so I did that and hit a few stores and stopped a few places and was able to pick a few things up. So let's start with some PSP games that I got. This is across a couple of different stores, I think. But I finally have the PSP version of Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands, Juiced 2 Hot Import Nights, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, and Astro Boy, the video game. Picked up some Wii stuff at a Goodwill location. So I got The Incredible Hulk, Namco Museum Remix, which of course you got to have a Namco Museum game for every console that you own, if you're a collector like me. And so pretty much had to have that. And I was very excited to see this one, TMNT. I've been after some version of this game for a while. This is of course based on the 2007 animated film, which I think was kind of sorta supposed to be a follow-up to the original 3 movies, but not really. But I enjoyed it, and so I've been after a copy of this game on some platform for a while, and was happy to see this on the Wii complete, because I see it frequently enough, but most of the time either there's no manual or the disc is totally beat up. So in this case, I had to get it. Picked up a couple of other Wii U games that I didn't have. So I got Rise of the Guardians movie license, and Transformers Rise of the Dark Spark. And then a couple of PS4 games. Finally got myself a copy of Ratchet & Clank on PS4. That, of course, is the greatest hits version with the red case. And something that I was happy to stumble across was the limited run games release of Astabreed. And, of course, this is in a nice, one of the limited run protective cases that they have. But this is one that I missed out on. I think because it was an early enough release that I didn't buy it. The earliest PS4 releases that I bought from limited run, if I remember correctly, were Darius Burst and Caladrius Blaze, I want to say. And both of those I purchased before I owned a PS4, but I knew I wanted to get in on those, and so I bought those before I got a PS4. But this, I think, was really early on, and so this was nice to stumble across at that particular game store. While I was out the next day, I bought a couple of things, one of which was this batch of Wii stuff from a thrift store. It's got a little Wii gun peripheral thing there. There's a nunchuck in here. There's a two steering wheels, actually. The tennis peripheral, which is one of the reasons I bought it. And then another reason I bought it was this U-Draw tablet. And so, unfortunately, I didn't see. It looks like maybe the pen tip has been chewed by a dog or something. So I'm not sure if this is going to work, but this was dirt cheap, so I'm not going to worry about it. And then there's also this grip controller, and that you can set the Wiimote into the grip, and so for virtual console games or stuff that allows you to play with the controller a bit more traditionally, you can put that in there and have it a little bit more grippy and nice. So that was kind of cool to find. So that was sort of a random Goodwill find. And then another random thrift store find was this fun set of Mega Man enamel pins. And so, of course, you've got the Mega Man 1-Up head there. You've got Rush smiling at you. I can't remember the name of the bird in the games. And then, of course, the energy tank. So that was a random find. And so I've got a hook over here on the wall where I've got some stuff hung up. I'm probably going to just hang this up on the wall and display it, not take it out of the package, because there's a hole here through the plastic that will allow me to then hang this up and put it on display. But this is pretty cool. It does look like it's officially licensed by Capcom. And yeah, just totally random. Was hanging on one of those pegboard walls where you can hang stuff, and you got your hooks and stuff, and as soon as I saw that, I said I have to have that, so I bought it. And then I got a few other items here from various game stores. So I picked up a copy of Burger Time for the NES. The Hunt for Red October for Super Nintendo. The text label version of Skydiver for the Atari 2600. This is one I didn't have yet, so that was a fun find. A Game Boy game that I have not seen in the wild, at least not for a long time, is The Flash. So that was a good little find. Also picked up at that same shop, or no, I guess it was a different shop, this game called Dragon Dance for the Game Boy Color, which looks like an interesting kind of Arkanoid-ish type of thing, but instead of just moving your paddle back and forth, which is the dragon, the dragon actually does this thing where when it doubles back, it sort of curls around and then moves back. And so it looks like the mechanics are slightly different, but it looked like fun, so I grabbed that. Also grabbed this arcade hits, Midway Arcade Hits, Moon Patrol, and Spy Hunter, because of course I had to have, something shooty. And as I'm sporting my Sunnydale Razorbacks t-shirt, being a big fan of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show, as soon as I saw this, I knew I had to grab it, and that is the Game Boy Color Buffy the Vampire Slayer game. So now the only Buffy game that I don't have at least one version of is the Game Boy Advance game. So I am on the lookout for that, but I was pretty excited to find that because that's one that I've been wanting for quite a while. I also stumbled across a Sega Saturn import game that I had to immediately pick up, which is Necronomicon. This is a pinball game, but the interesting thing about this is not only is it supposedly a very good pinball game, it has excellent reviews, but the music in this game was done by none other than John Petrucci of Dream Theater, who you can kind of see his picture there at the top in the center there in the tray card. I don't know if there's anything in the manual that would give a better indication of that as well. No, the manual is pretty minimalistic. But yeah, John Petrucci, guitarist for Dream Theater, did the music for Necronomicon. And so, of course, it's very kind of progressive rock, progressive metal sort of vibe going on. This is one I've been after for a while, and having just stumbled across it randomly in the wild, I pretty much had to have that. One other item that I ended up picking up during this trip was something else for the Wii U collection, and that is this Skylanders Superchargers starter kit, or starter pack. So, scratch off one more big box item for the Wii U that I can add to the list. And now, let's go ahead and cap things off with an item that I've been waiting on for a while, as is usually the case with Strictly Limited. They tend to, in a lot of their titles, take a while to actually get them out and into people's hands, but I think it'll be worth the wait. And that is the release of the previously unreleased arcade game, Clockwork Aquario. This is, of course, the postcard that they usually send, and this is a little sticker with the character art. But I, of course, bought the larger pack, the PCB box style. So I'm going to see if this is going to let me peel back these stickers without too much hassle, or if I'm going to end up having to use my box cutter. Oh, that one's good. Oh, I got that one as well. Okay, so let's get this open here. So here you've got your game box inside. I did buy the Switch version. Wow, this is a big box. So this is a very large box. Set that aside for the moment because there is something underneath it here. Okay, so we've got a separator sheet. We've got this little arcade flyer instruction sheet. And we have this book, which is really nice. And let's take a look here. Letter to the fans. Thank you for purchasing Clockwork Aquario. This is an elusive arcade game that was developed by Westone over the span of 2 years. Although it was completed in 1992, it was never released onto the market and production stopped. 30 years have passed, and this game, which we thought would never see the light of day again, has now been brought back thanks to the requests of fans around the world. I am really happy that I am able to share this miraculous event with everyone. I would like to express my deepest gratitude for the many wonderful opportunities I have been given. And there are several names here. T. Karihara, Maki Ozora, Ryo. I cannot read the other piece there. Hibo or Chibo, something like that. Nina Morioka. Must be some of the development team. And so, yeah, you've got history, character art, enemy art, story animation, logo, and System 18, which was to be the hardware this was going to be released on. So, of course, a history of the development of the game and how that came about, information about the cancellation and the revival of the game, how this project came to be. Some nice concept art there of the characters. Yeah, really nice, colorful, fun character art. Some sketches and fully color-filled pieces. Wow, very cool stuff. Yeah, this is great. This is going to be fun to look through in more detail at some point here. Oh yeah, this is awesome. Oh wow, there's boss art there. Yeah, this is cool. So very, very neat to see all of this. Oh wow, and yeah, logo concept stuff there. Yeah, so Sega System 18 was to be the platform that it was going to be released on. Which is really too bad that it never saw the light of day, but it's cool that we finally get the ability to play this game now. So, having said that, I'll put this book back in the thing here. I'll get the separator insert back in place. And now let's actually dig into the box itself. And of course I could have bought the PS4 version, but this is the kind of game I enjoy playing on the Switch. So as with all of these strictly limited releases, this is just the slipcover, so that you've got your Nintendo Switch branding and legal information on there. But you've got your main box here with all of your branding, and they always have these nice magnetic flaps. So let's see, we've got quite a bit here. We've got this acrylic stand-up deal. I think it's a acrylic diorama, if I remember correctly from the pre-order page. So that'll be interesting to open up and put together. This is, of course, one of the things that I'm always a sucker for, soundtracks. So we've got the original soundtrack and the remix soundtrack. We have this oversized 100 yen coin or token with character art on the front. Not sure if that'll be visible in the camera there. Let's see here. We've got, looks like some art cards. Character art cards. So you've got L Moon. Yeah, so L Moon, Huck Londo, and then on the back here, this Gush, this robot character. Let me go ahead and leave those together for the time being until I decide if I want to display those somewhere. We've got a couple of stickers here that are arcade control panel type replications. Or not control panel, but arcade instructions. This sticker that looks like would have been a marquee to put on the top of a cabinet with the kit that you buy. Let's see, here's another one of those instructional strips. Another sticker with, again, logo and character art. Ooh. We have a sticker page with fun character art there. And this very large double-sided poster. So you've got that there, and then really nice art piece there. And then, of course, you have the game itself. So let's break into that and show this off. Oh, looks like I can get into this one without having to use my box cutter, which is always nice. Stuck to the top there. All right. So we've got front of the game there, back there with screenshots and text, and then inside we've got the game card and, of course, what looks like just a little, just a smaller version of the kind of instructional card inside. So not a full-blown manual, but still kind of neat. And then just some wire or line art in the inside there. But I'm looking forward to this. Westone, of course, developed the Wonder Boy series, and came up with that for Sega, and so kind of with that they've already got a bit of a pedigree. And this, I've heard very good things about this game, so I'm looking forward to popping this in and putting some time into it. So that is Clockwork Aquario, the formerly unreleased arcade game that now has finally seen release and will be accessible and playable to those of us without spending thousands of dollars on obscure arcade hardware once more. I'll be interested to put this diorama together and see how that turns out. That should be interesting. Not sure where I'll display it yet. I'm lacking in space a little bit, but that's okay. You know, it's a good problem to have. So anyway, that's all I've got to show off for March and April of 2022. What do you think? Of all the stuff here that I've got, what stuff do you think you would dive into first? You know, what games would be on your short list, or what stuff would you want to experience sooner rather than later? Let me know in the comments. Also, have any of you out there seen or played with these Suncom Super Nintendo pads? And if so, I'm curious to hear your experience, because as I said, just looking at it, touching it, and feeling these, it doesn't feel good. But this has been sitting in a building that was abandoned years ago and probably hasn't been touched by human hands in 5 or 6 years minimum. So I'm still thinking about taking this apart, at least one of these, taking one of these apart and giving the components and everything an alcohol bath to clean it up and see if it's even, you know, if it even works. Yeah, it just doesn't feel good in my hands, but it's still interesting. So that's always cool to kind of be able to see these things and stuff that I missed out on the first time because I was never a Super Nintendo owner back in the day, to kind of get a glimpse at some of this, kind of like a few months ago when I showed off some really awful third-party Sega Genesis pads. You know, I wouldn't want to sit down and play with them for more than a few minutes, but they're interesting because they're kind of an odd time capsule of third-party products from that time. And, you know, sometimes you got third-party stuff that was good, and sometimes you got stuff from third parties that was really terrible. And so this kind of smacks of that to me. And so, anyway, I find it interesting. But let me know in the comments what stuff you would want to dig into, what games you would want to play first. You know, has anyone else jumped into Clockwork Aquario, and what did you think of it? I'd be curious to see. Or any fellow Dream Theater fans out there that would be firing up Necronomicon in short order. Let me know that too. If you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. And also, please consider subscribing so that you can see more of my videos in your YouTube feed. I'll have a link in the description to my blog where you can check out my Game Boy reviews. That is gameboyguru.blogspot.com. And as always, thank you for watching, thanks for playing, and game on.